Today I'm doing a book review on The Homemade God by Rachel Joyce. When I first picked this book up, I thought it was a mystery. That was what I thought, that it was mystery based in Italy. And somewhat it is, but what it is mostly is a family drama that takes place over the unexplained death of their father. And you're with this family for the entire summer as they await the autopsy of their father to find out how he was killed, how he actually died, and if there is anything nefarious with that. And while they're waiting, they're coming to terms with new revelations, old revelations, and it's very interesting. At first I was like, "Oh, is this really not the mystery that I thought it was?" But it's very engaging and I really enjoyed it, which is why I wanted to do a book review on it. So this is what the back says. It says, as a heat wave sweeps across Europe, four siblings have gathered at their family's lake house to seek answers about their father, a famous artist who recently married a much younger woman and decamped to Italy to finish his long awaited masterpiece. Now he is dead, and there is no sign of his final painting. As the siblings try to piece together what happened, they spend the summer in a state of lawlessness, living under the same roof for the first time in decades, forced to confront long buried wounds and waiting for answers. Though they've always been close, the things they learned that summer about themselves and their father threaten to drive them apart before they can truly understand his legacy. Meanwhile, their stepmother's enigmatic presence looms over the house. Is she the force that will finally destroy this family for good? We learned that the father, his name is Vic Kemp. It describes him as a self-taught artist. Homemade was how he put it. Hence the name of the book, Homemade God. Everything he knew was about art that he had learned from copying. He wasn't a household name, and his work had never been shown in public galleries, but you knew it without actively knowing who had done it because it was everywhere, both online and on High Street. Posters, signed prints, greeting cards, and notebooks. So he wasn't an acclaimed author in the sense of, Van Gogh or something like that. He wasn't esteemed in the highbrow social circles, but he was a prolific artist who had a certain genre of art that he drew. It was a very sensual, like Madam of the Night type of paintings, and he had named them all sorts of sensual names. And so it was a lot in reprint and posters, like you would see in a lot of stores. And so he was a well-known artist in that sense, that he was kind of everywhere. And so he had money, he made a good living, and he had married a woman. He had had first an affair with a woman who had kind of taught him about art and made him, believe that he could be an artist. And then she moved on because he was a bit of a boy toy to her. And then he married someone his own age, and they had four children. They had three girls and a boy. And unfortunately, his wife died from cancer very young. And so he was very irresponsible. Like, they just kind of lived by the seat of their pants. He was not at all fatherly to them in being able to take care of them. He was, smoking all night, doing his paintings, very kind of eccentric. And so he would hire these nannies, and the nannies would come and go. And the children just worshiped their father like a god. Like, they wanted to be special. They wanted to be important. And each of them have this kind of generational trauma from what you would expect was a very traumatic experience, growing up without their mother, their father being away often for weeks at a time. He was fun when he was with them. It was a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking, a lot of women, a lot of affairs with the nannies. And so we meet these children as adults. They're all in their 20s and 30s, and they all are in, I don't want to say terrible relationships, but unhealthy relationships. The relationships that you see from people who have had kind of a stunted idea or really no um, no real they never really saw a good relationship, and they're all kind of suffering the consequences. So we have the one daughter who marries a man. She marries very young. She's maybe like 20. She marries a man twice her age. She's basically looking for a father. So she marries this guy, and she tries everything that she can do. It's a second marriage for him. He's got these, awful twins that she tries everything. She tries to be this amazing homemaker. She sees herself as maybe like a Nigella Lawson. Like she felt like she could have been on TV. She could have had this like lifestyle brand, but she 100% devotes herself to her husband and these kids who have, no feeling for her. They just treat her like, a piece of dirt pretty much. They don't appreciate anything that she does for them, even though she's probably a much better mother than their own mother. And she does this to create the home life that she never had. And then you have another daughter who marries a man who she believes that she's in love with, and then finds out after a few years, into maybe 10 years into their marriage, that he's gay. He apologizes that he's found out that he's really gay. And so they still maintain a love for each other, but he ends up getting AIDS. And now she has this kind of, well, obviously it's like a sexless marriage, kind of almost, with the man that he had run away with. So that's the man that's in her life, somebody who can never really be with her as a husband, who loves her almost because she just reminds him of the man that he loved. And so that's not very healthy. He's very sweet to her and he cares about her, but it's not a healthy relationship. The youngest daughter, who was a baby at the time of her mother's death, she's very stunted. She's always a baby. Even though she's an adult, she just has no idea of how to be a grown-up. She never really saw it. And she kind of just worships her father, which they all do in a way. They're all taking care of him. They're all like, the one daughter goes over there every week and cleans the apartment, and they're used to getting crazy texts in the middle of the night where he's drunk and he can't get home, and they've got to get him back to the apartment and take care of him. And then there's the son. And the son has some real issues as well. And we find out that the son had thought about becoming a painter, and that he had done this series of paintings that he had worked very hard on. He was a very different painter from his father. And that the dealer that had been his father's agent had arranged, they'd both kind of arranged for him to have a big art gallery opening. And something happened right before the opening, and he kind of lost it. He had a manic breakdown, and they found him burning all of the paintings. He had taken them off the wall and he burned them all. Like it was all going up in smoke as like the first people were arriving. And so he went into a mental institution for a while, or hospital. And the father said, well, you can come be my assistant, but don't ever try to paint again, because I don't ever want to see you like that. I don't want to see you have another breakdown. And so he is like, his passion, his like, what he feels like what he would be good at in life was to be a painter, and now that's taken away. And then he just watches his father day after day paint. He just brings him paints and makes canvases ready for him. And so it's a very like subservient and diminished, kind of a sad life. Like that's all he has, is just serving his father. And he feels grateful to his father. He feels grateful that he still gets to be around that and to kind of see the genius. But after a while, you're like, is it genius? Because the father hasn't painted for a long time. And he says, he's just got this block, and that he's going to do the best painting. He's got a new idea. He's going to go a totally different direction, and he's going to create his piece de resistance, and all the art critics will have to take him seriously after this, and that he's working on it. And he has the son do this huge canvas. Before, he would just do regular size canvases, but he's got this huge one that he has prepared. And so the siblings are all very close because they are bonded by the fact that they all deal with this same father, and they all have a different hole in their heart about their relationship with their father. It's like they love him. And when he's there, he's like so energetic and he's a ray of sunshine and he pours this on them and then he disappears. And so they just feel like it's not solid. It's almost like they're the adult in the room when he's in the room. But that he's bigger than life and that they're all trying to live up to him, and they're all kind of competing against each other for love, even though not in a malicious way, but that's just the nature of how they grew up and the situation that they're in. And so the book starts out where nobody's heard from him. Like all of them are like, I haven't heard from him. He's been gone. I've been texting. And so um, the father says, let's get together. We're going to get together for dinner. And they go to this, like, instead of this nice restaurant, they go to this very loud, like crazy noodle shop. And he tells them, he drops a bomb and he tells them that he met someone and he's getting married. And they're like, what? Like he's never remarried. He's older. He's had dalliances with the nannies. He's had the notorious affairs, but that he's getting married. And then they find out that he's getting married to a woman who's like their age, like somebody who's super young. I think he's like in his 60s, like his late 60s. And this woman that he's marrying is in her mid 20s. And they're like, well, tell us, like, where did you meet her? They have a million questions. And he's like, and he looks radically different too. When they see him, he's very thin. He's kind of cleaned up a little bit. Like normally he looks very eccentric, like paint all over him and very disheveled and hair kind of crazy, but he's been better groomed. And like she's like, oh, she's having such a good effect on me. She's having me drink all these tonics and these teas. And they're like, okay. And so he ends up leaving, and they go through this series of talking like, this can't be right. Like somebody needs to figure out what's going on here. And then they're like, oh, this will pass. This is just they can't figure out like where he even met this woman. And so he says that the next thing they know is he's taking that huge canvas that's been prepared and he's going to the lake house in Italy. This is the place where they have summered every year for their entire childhood. And they have very fond memories of this lake house. And he's going to the lake house and he's going to work on his final painting. And then he's texting them that he's going to get married there and he wants them to come out. And they get to a point where they are just frustrated and tired of feeling like they're jumping in his beck and call. They're very mad that every time they've tried to meet this woman, there's been a series of times where it's like it's been set up for them to meet her. And it's like, oh no, she can't come now. Oh no, she's not feeling up to it. And so they've never met her. And he's got them like, they feel like it's like jumping through hoops. Like, oh, come here, come here. They're like dropping everything to go see her. And then she just disappears. And even when he comes, picks up the canvas and his son is there, he's like, oh, she's waiting in the cab. Like she won't even come in to like meet the son. And so the girls are miffed by this. And they're like, we're not going to be doing this anymore. We're done. Like he needs to come to us and in a real way, not this like jump through hoops. So they all decide that they're not going to respond to his text. They're not going to answer him. And so he's like sending texts like, where are you? I want you to be here and, come out and the water's great. And they're ignoring him. And then the next thing that they hear is that he died. He died while he was there in Italy, and they are just rocked by this and then feeling all the guilt for not having jumped through, not having gone there, why, like all these things left unsaid. He had gotten married, and now the wife is going to be the one who inherits everything. And the one daughter, the oldest daughter, is a lawyer, a very high-powered lawyer in London. And so, of course, she's in there like a prosecutor, like wanting to get to the bottom of it. They all go to Italy. They all kind of eventually get to Italy, to the lake house where they're staying. And they meet the stepmother for the first time. And she's very young, very glamorous, not what they expected. And the one daughter has a suspicion that like maybe she poisoned him. What were all these tonics? What were all these teas? Why was he so thin? They're just shocked by how thin he was. And then the official ruling was that he died by drowning, which they think is absolutely incomprehensible because he was a great swimmer. They'd been there their whole lives swimming, and they said that he was swimming when the mist came in, and that is kind of like the last straw for the one daughter, because she's like, no, he always warned about the mist. He always said, never swim when the mist is coming, and he never would have done that. And so she asks for an autopsy. She wants to know, she wants to make sure that there wasn't anything in his bloodstream, that there was nothing nefarious. And the stepmother allows it to happen, but they're all like just waiting. Like nothing can happen with the will, nothing can move forward until this autopsy is done. And so they're now living, all of them, including the stepmother, at this lake house. And they're starting to begin to figure out who they are without their father. Like they always saw themselves in relation to who they were with their father, but now they're finding out who they are without their father. And they're confronting some things. They're confronting their relationships that they had gotten themselves into, and maybe questioning some things, and just coming to terms with it, and at the same time getting to know the stepmother and like suspecting her. And then also she's got this very strange like cousin that she seems, a male, she seems super close with, always giggling, always laughing, and it's like, is that her boyfriend? Is like, did they kill him together like to get the house? Like it's very strange, but they're like, oh no, no, this is my cousin, and we've just been close all our lives. And so it just goes on and on. It's like a slow burn. It's like every day as they wait, they're all in this house where their best childhood memories had been spent, and now they're in this house living their worst moment as adults, and just reviewing and revisiting and reflecting on their lives while they come to terms with their father's death, where they come to terms with who their father really was. Where is the painting? That's the other mystery. It's like this painting that he said that he was going to make, where is it? And did the stepmother, the new wife, did she steal the painting? Is she hiding it? Did she sell it? Like they're very suspicious. And but she's not who they thought that they expected her to be. And so some of them are kind of creating a relationship with her, and it's like, is she playing with them? Is she serious? Because she's not what they expected, and so they don't really know if they can trust her or not. And it's very, very interesting book. So without giving any more away, I would really recommend, I would say 5 stars for The Homemade God. It's not a mystery like what I would normally read. It's not a necessarily a whodunit. But it is a very well written, in-depth look at real families, real trauma that develops from having a unique and not ideal childhood, and how that um, reflects itself in future relationships, and how that maybe reflects itself in the relationships between the siblings. And it follows them all the way through to years after his death, and the ramifications, and the healing that they go through from that. And I would just really recommend it. It's very well read. It's not a long book. It's I mean, for as much as goes on, it's not a long book. That's how you know a book is well written, when it doesn't feel long. 324 pages. I mean, a lot happens in this 324 pages, and I just highly recommend it. I thought it was really good. It wasn't what I expected, but 5 stars. So hope you pick up Homemade God at the bookstore or the library and check it out.